This is where I turn to NewsNation national correspondent Caitlyn Becker, who's been following this story. There is some unbelievable detail to this. But first, let's just start with this. Did we just have a serial killer fall into our laps?
It's very possible, Ashleigh. Police and the FBI are looking into the possibility that this individual could be connected to many, many crimes. I think at a minimum, we could be looking at an alleged career criminal. Beyond that, maybe an alleged career predator, but serial killer is certainly a possibility.
So when I saw these details in Arizona of the different attacks, just run through what happened to the women in Arizona specifically. The details are astounding.
It's really disturbing. So this is in the middle of the day. A McDonald's employee was followed into the bathroom at McDonald's, allegedly by this man, Rod, who followed her into the bathroom. She tried to protect herself by barricading herself inside of a locked stall. Police say he pounded on the stall door, and when she didn't open it, he allegedly crawled underneath of the stall door, held her at gunpoint, and when she screamed, she was stabbed multiple times. He then fled the scene in a stolen car and was picked up and arrested a soon time later.
She lived.
She lived. Actually, both of these victims are expected to survive, which is a miracle. And when he was in custody, he allegedly admitted to a stabbing just a day prior in a nearby city in Phoenix, where he allegedly tried to steal a woman's car and stabbed her in the process of this carjacking in progress.
That's the one outside the Starbucks?
That's the one right outside the Starbucks.
Go back to the McDonald's one for a minute, because did he say to the police that his intention in that McDonald's stall was to, quote, rape her, either dead or alive?
That's what police say he admitted to while in custody with them. Because, of course, my first question is, you hear carjacking, that you can understand maybe the progression of the crime, but why follow this woman in there? And he said that that was his intention, was to rape her dead or alive, because he was, quote, attracted to her.
I just want to vomit when I hear that. And I can't imagine what she went through watching him come under the stall, first with a gun, then bringing out the knife. Again, all allegations at this point. Now he starts talking to the police who arrested him. Don't ask me why, but he just opens the floodgates, starts talking about what, Texas and Florida. Additional assaults in what does he have in Texas and Florida?
These are two states that he's known to have lived in, and he has an outstanding warrant for a domestic issue, according to law enforcement in Texas. And when he was in custody, he allegedly told law enforcement that he had hurt 3 women in Florida. And Ashleigh, that just kind of scratches the surface of what was going on in Florida.
How was this guy loose? I mean, it looks to me like he's been in this system a lot, and not just, for petty things, dangerous, violent, horrendous things, like the things that you and I worry about when we walk to a car in a parking lot.
Ashleigh, he's actually out on bond right now for a case that's working its way through the court system in Orange County, Florida, in the Orlando area. He is wanted and charged with 5 felonies. And when you say serious felonies, the things we're afraid of, I dug up the court documents today and I'm looking at them right here: sexual battery, aggravated assault, grand theft motor vehicle, grand theft, and obstructing justice. He allegedly held a sex worker, basically kidnapped, and wouldn't let her go, according to law enforcement, when he had had a couple of drinks. So he was able to post bond in this case, and law enforcement said because he did this, he was allowed to leave the state, and that is what ultimately led him to New York, and then from New York to Arizona. And he does have an Arizona driver's license.
Well, or Caitlyn, he posted bond, he wasn't allowed to leave the state, and he went ahead and did it anyway, because why not?
Press conference, in the press conference for the NYPD, they did ask that question, and the NYPD officer said in this press conference today that he posted bond and was allowed to go. Now, I don't know the specifics. I have not heard back yet from the courts in Orange County, Florida, about what that bond agreement was, but he's certainly in violation of it by having another arrest.
Unbelievable. Keep on this and let us know if this ends up being an alleged serial killer, because I think there's just so many similar kinds of crimes that are unsolved. So Caitlyn Becker, great job.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.